What's up, you guys? Epic here. Another tutorial for you guys on the palm side flip, palm back flip. There's a couple different ways you guys can do this real quick. And I just want to throw this out there to not be picky about the direction that you go. Wherever you send your body, that's where it's going to go. So pay attention that when you execute this, that you pay attention to how you control where you send your momentum. When I do it, I do more of a back flip motion just because that's how my muscle memory is programmed. That's what I'm used to. That's what I'm comfortable with. So find out what you're more comfortable with and use that when you're training this, when you're practicing it, when you're doing it, etc. If you don't have your standing side flip, this may be a lot more challenging than if you're just doing it from scratch. So if you don't have the side flip, I recommend getting that down so this is much easier for you guys. All it really is kind of a jump, push into a side flip. Make sure that you're going to spot the ground. Make sure you have a good idea of not just jumping up, but the understanding of as you're jumping up and you're pushing to the side, that this whole motion here causes you to tilt. Use that tilt, go with the motion, tuck tight, look for the ground, control the landing. That's pretty much the gist of it. But let's break down and go a little bit more into detail into it. There's a couple ways you can start off with it. Some people go here and jump straight up like I do. I feel I have a lot more control doing that versus sometimes when people go here, off one leg, and hit to the side. Now, there's a couple different ways you guys can do this. Some people will hit and literally go directly sideways. Other people will kind of hit it and kind of go slightly into it, kind of like a back flip, half side flip motion. So it's really up to you guys. It's all just movement, so don't be too critical about it. What matters is that you're having fun while doing it. Most important part out of whatever it is that we do. If you want to go directly sideways though, make sure you're paying attention to how you're taking off. So you're not hand turning, hand this way, that way. And believe it or not, that actually plays a big difference in how you're doing your flip. When you're doing it, instead of tucking this way, you can tuck straight that way. When you're jumping, when you're taking off, make sure you take off high. You're not just kind of jumping up enough to where you can push off. Go high, that way when you push off, you'll be all that extra height, so you can have all the extra time to see and spot that landing. So when you're doing this, go up. If you want to go sideways, make sure you're tucking more directly to the side. Make sure you follow through with this arm and come over as you tuck. So with that, when you go into it, make sure you can judge your distance just right. Make sure your hand's not going to slip. And the way to judge your distance is knowing how high to put your hand. Let's do it this way. I'm about this tall, right? So if I put my arm straight out the side, put my hand right here, put it one hand length higher. That's where I want to aim. Because if I jump, hopefully I can get at least that high, so I'm not, whatever. So when you're going into it, make sure when you jump, you're going to hit right there. Don't jump and lean back and then push off the wall, because you don't want the wall to be out of reach. So when you're jumping, make sure you're jumping right next to it. As far as distance away from the wall, about your arm's length. I mean, that's pretty comfortable there. That way, whenever you push off, you're actually going to push efficiently. You're not just going to barely tap with your fingertips. So make sure you have really good, firm grasps of the wall. So when you push off, you have all that momentum that you can use to flipping. You don't want to stop and then push. You want to push as you're going up. So you're going up and push. So your momentum is still going up as you're pushing. That way, it'll assist you. So you're tucking more at your peak, not as you're falling. That way, you have a lot more time to control that landing and look for that ground so you can spot it. When it comes to actual tucking motion, tuck tight. If you can grab your knees for a split second, do that. If you have your side foot down, I'm pretty sure you have a good understanding as to how you tuck. Everybody kind of has a different way, so try to figure out what way works best for you guys. When you're going out of it, up, tuck, make sure you can see that ground. When you guys watch me in the slow motion, you'll see that I actually look for the ground. You can see me spot the ground so I can control how I land. Use that. Take advantage of that knowledge and apply it. When you're doing this, make sure you can see that ground. It's probably the most important part. Otherwise, you're just throwing your body and expecting to land on your feet. And if you guys know me and how I teach, you never just toss yourself in the air and expect to land on your feet. You have to control your body. So when doing this, make sure that you're looking for that ground. Any ways to practice this nice and quietly, you can practice going up to the wall and literally just side flipping with that one hand, and instead of pushing on the wall or even doing this motion here, because if you don't hit anything, you're going to counterbalance your jump and you're going to fall straight down. So when you're doing this, just as you bring your arm up to kind of get used to pushing on the wall, bring it up and follow through over. So you're kind of going up here and then tucking. That way you'll get used to bringing that arm up and tucking with mainly this arm. But after you push, when you push with your hand, when you go into that flip, your hand's already here, so your feet are going to meet your hands, so you turn that into that tuck. That way you don't have to think about bringing your hand to your knees. Your knees and your legs are actually going to go to your hand, and that'll assist the tuck, so you're tucking much tighter, much more controlled, and give you that much more control on spotting that landing to control the landing so you land safely. With that, here's a couple slow-mos so you guys can watch, pay attention to detail, look at different pointers and different tips, pay attention to foot placement, structure, hips, eyes, spotting, foot placement. Anything you can think of, pay attention to it. You have to go back and rewatch it again. Other than that, I'm Epic, and this is a tutorial for the palm side flip. Take great care and stay positive.